It is 8:37 time for your Revelstoke Mayor Report with Mayor Gary Sauls. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Sean.
How are you?
I am great. You?
I'm doing all right. So, Gary, there's nothing too controversial that I feel that I need to ask you, but I try to play nice in the sandbox with you, so
Thanks.
that's my duty and my job here is just to ask questions that I think some might want to know.
Sure.
So I was reading a recap on what Imogen had wrote about on The Current about the strategic plan. Now, I'm assuming that was sort of a recap or like a shortened version of it. It was basically a giant mission statement that I read. So I thought we would have a discussion a little bit about that and what you thought about the release of it and how it all rolled out. And we always like to promote the positive, but just I wanted to hear from you, like, you know, when you guys are talking, besides coming back to the media and giving us that public positive spin, is there anything within it that was, well, we can say that, but we better damn well prove it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, was there anything real and raw about it?
Well, I think when you get down to the bottom of it, we talk about service excellence, and that's the type of service that we want to provide. In some areas, we're deficient on that. We're aware of that, and so is staff. And so part of staff's mandate is to follow what council's strategic plan is. So once we're able to get the strategic plan, we're able to go back to the staff and say, okay, here's your marching orders, so to speak, and this is how council would like the community or our issues dealt with in the community. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what everything boils down to. We talk about livability and sustainability and resilience. When we talk about resilience, we want to be staffed up so that we've got enough people in all the departments. And as you and I were just talking about, some departments don't have enough staff, and so we're aware of that. But then it comes down to budgeting and how do we work those things. So we're working on all that kind of behind the scenes, say, hey, where can we put people and where do we need to put people? And so that, in a nutshell, is really what we're doing.
So do you think, in all reality, and I know that the town would go no because it would need more tax dollars, but in all reality, does city need more staff in departments?
We do. And so now we're going to have to look at it. Are we overstaffed in some departments, or are we understaffed in some departments? And I think generally we're either right where we need to be or we're understaffed. And then we need to look at that and say, why are we understaffed? Well, because of the people that are coming in, the tourism structure, and the development that's going on. We may be understaffed in those areas. So
I was kind of wondering, like, what our staff numbers look like in, say, like 1992, 3, 4, and 5, and then compare it to 2002, 3, 4, and 5, and then take a look at it in 13, 14, 15, and just kind of see if the numbers of staff kind of are roughly the same. But then, of course, we are looking at, and we're basing all of this on a very short 3-month window of TELUS phone optics that we've got 14,000 people here. My personal thought sitting on all those boards listening to it was, I get that it's accurate during that time, but I still don't think it reflects the community at large. I believe in those 3 months, but all the time long term, do you think it's 14,000? Like, personally, I'm kind of going, maybe not that much.
Well, maybe not that much, but it's going to be close to that in a lot of areas because we're so deficient in housing. And so people can come in at this time of year and you'll be able to find a house and that, but then people are saying, no, it's short term because we want to rent it out for a higher price in the wintertime.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So even if you were to average, just say 10,000 people, you know, that actually pay taxes or live here or whatever the case is, that you'd still need more staff to sustain what we already have, just like anything else. And the one problem, it's funny, the city's problem is maybe lack of staff, which is one of the biggest problems Revelstoke is seeing right now, from the pharmacies to the grocery stores to the mom and pop shops downtown. It just seems to be a running thing. A help wanted sign basically should be at the front of the entrance to Revelstoke.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe we should do that. Definitely, everyone's feeling that pinch trying to have staff, and getting staff is one thing, housing them's another. So it goes back. It's that whole cyclical thing. If you don't have the housing, you can't get the staff. If you don't have the staff, you're not going to be able to fill the houses, those sorts of things. So it's an ongoing struggle for all of us.
Well, I guess you guys will have to take a look at that and see how you're going to roll forward with it, because it's one of those catch-22s. You need the assistance and the help, but nobody wants to pay for it.
Well, it's it, and it's limited budget. Everybody has a limited budget, and you can only go to the taxpayers for so much. So it comes down to being prudent with the staff that we have, watching our P's and Q's as far as dollars go, and then making sure that we have the right people in the right places. So.
And I've heard a couple of times that the feds have signed about the caribou. They signed the 11th chapter.
I haven't heard that yet. I know that it was going to them the beginning of the week to have a conversation. I actually spoke with Darcy Peel last week on Thursday when Horgan made his announcement up north about the moratorium in the backcountry. No more infrastructure building within 2 years. And they reached out to me right away because they knew my hair would be standing on end, and said, that's just for that area. That doesn't affect Revelstoke. But when we talked further, their comment to me was their structure as they've got it now, they want us to be able to sit at the table managing the herd plans when they sign that Chapter 11. So they were going to propose that to the feds. They were going to meet, talk about that, and hopefully that would come to fruition. I've yet to see proof of that, so I'm not sure where we're at.
But that obviously is a step in the right direction to be able to have a say.
That's correct, and that's what we've been asking for.
And we talked a couple weeks ago about the reality is there's very well a good chance that there might be some closure of some area of it, but not the entire allotment, which is what the big concern was.
That's correct.
They're going to try to appease to both. Plus, it's an election year, so they want to make sure they get all different votes. So they're going to want to appease those that are concerned and those that want to keep playing and working in the backcountry. So.
Yeah, and so once we know for sure and I hear from them as to exactly where we're going, then I can announce that and go from there. But I have not heard anything further than the call on Thursday from Darcy because he knew I'd be pretty worked up.
No way, Gary. Haven't you seen the pre-roll commercials have already started? He just wasn't ready yet. Like, they'll start, you start getting inundated with all the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that is what's going on. Is there anything else that you can think of that's probably relevant?
Not to that. I just want to mention today is grad, so the grad ceremony this morning. So I want to congratulate
2019
all those, grads. And I saw a poster. My wife pointed out a post on social media, and it went, "Dear parents, tag, you're it.
Yes.
Love the teachers." So we've got that. We've got the festivities on the 30th for the 120th gala. There's still tickets available for that. And then the July 1st parade and the events at Queenie Park.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you out on the parade on Monday. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.